Just like the Mate 60 series before it, Huawei has once again chosen a very quiet approach to unveil its latest flagship, announcing the China version of the P70 series without any large-scale launch event. For years, the P series has represented Huawei's strongest focus on mobile photography, but this time the company has taken a bold step forward by rebranding it as Pura, a name that reflects a purer, simpler, and more refined design philosophy. With this change, Huawei is clearly signaling that the Pura series is no longer just about having the best camera hardware, but also about combining technology with artistic design. We were lucky enough to get our hands on the P70 Ultra on the very first day of release, so let's start right away with the unboxing experience. Since this is the Ultra model, the box itself is noticeably larger than the other variants in the lineup. As soon as you open the lid, the phone greets you on the top layer, and while only the brown color was available at the store, it turned out to be a surprisingly premium and distinctive shade that instantly feels different from any Huawei phone we've used in the past. Putting the phone aside for a moment, the box includes a beautifully designed protective case that matches the brown finish extremely well, followed by the SIM ejector pin, user manuals, and warranty card. There's also a standard charging cable included, but the real highlight here is the 100-watt charger, which supports two interfaces, even though they're positioned so close together that you can't actually use both at the same time. In terms of charging, the P70 Ultra supports ultra-fast 100-watt wired charging and 80-watt wireless charging, paired with an upgraded 5,200 mAh battery, making this one of the most capable charging setups Huawei has ever offered on a smartphone. The P70 lineup itself is very ambitious, consisting of 4 different models including the standard P70, the P70 Pro, the P70 Pro Plus, and the Ultra, effectively covering almost every premium and flagship price segment. The China version of the P70 Ultra starts at 9,999 renminbi, which is roughly $1,400, and despite that high price tag, Huawei's official online store sold out in just 1 minute, clearly showing how strong Huawei's position still is within the Chinese smartphone market. The Ultra model comes in 4 different color options, and the one we picked wasn't available on previous P-series devices. It retains a leather-like back panel but adds subtle starburst patterns that enhance the phone's premium and artistic feel. The most striking design element, however, is without a doubt the camera module, which looks bold, edgy, and instantly recognizable. Unlike the familiar circular camera islands used by many competing brands, this unique layout makes it immediately obvious that you're holding a brand new Huawei flagship. This design choice also serves a functional purpose, as it accommodates an extremely advanced main camera system. The P70 Ultra features a 1-inch RYYB sensor with an f/1.6 aperture, sensor shift stabilization, a retractable lens, and even variable aperture technology. The retractable lens itself is not designed for optical zoom, but instead helps reduce lens protrusion and improve optical quality, potentially opening the door for future smartphones to bring back true physical zoom systems once this technology becomes more mature. In real-world photography, all 3 rear cameras perform exceptionally well, delivering fast and accurate focusing along with consistent image quality across different focal lengths. You don't really have to think about which lens to use while shooting, because the phone handles dynamic range and color reproduction extremely well, even at higher zoom levels like 10x, largely thanks to Huawei's powerful image processing and AI-driven algorithms. That said, there is one noticeable limitation, as smooth continuous zooming is still not fully implemented, and transitions between lenses can feel slightly abrupt, which takes away a bit from what would otherwise be a near-perfect shooting experience. Moving on to performance, last year's Mate 60 series introduced Huawei's first domestically produced Kirin 9000's chipset following US restrictions, and while it wasn't class-leading in raw performance, it marked an important milestone for Huawei's comeback. This year, the P70 Ultra is powered by the new Kirin 9010 chipset, which uses the same core architecture and GPU as the 9000s but with adjusted frequencies aimed at improving efficiency. Performance gains are relatively modest, with slightly better multi-core results, but power efficiency has improved noticeably. In gaming tests, the Kirin 9010 consumes less power than its predecessor and even performs surprisingly well compared to many flagship smartphones released throughout 2024. The display on the P70 Ultra is a 120Hz OLED panel similar to the Mate 60 Pro, featuring LTPO technology, ultra-high 1440Hz PWM dimming, and a 300Hz touch sampling rate. It's protected by the latest generation Kunlun glass, which offers significantly improved drop resistance compared to previous versions. Other notable features include IP68 water resistance, satellite calling that remains limited to China, NFC support, an infrared blaster, dual SIM functionality, USB 3.1 with DisplayPort video output, and a total weight of 229 grams, which is fairly typical for an ultra-class flagship device. Running HarmonyOS 4.2, the phone feels smooth, responsive, and visually polished, even without Google mobile services. Overall, Huawei continues to show growing confidence in its smartphone comeback, and while raw performance still has room for improvement, the P70 Ultra clearly stands out as one of the most impressive camera-focused smartphones available today. The big question now is whether Huawei will release the P70 series globally, and we truly hope that happens. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more in-depth reviews and comparisons coming very soon.